welcome everyone to the live. If you're here early, it's gonna start 8 o'clock. But for right now, just rallying up everybody, sending out the link, this and that, this and that. Seeing if I can probably even get some guest speakers and so on. So just hang tight if you're here. All right, welcome everybody. It's me, MDC, the MDC here in MDCRX, and your friendly neighborhood pharmacist. So I was planning to keep the music, but Jano, the music kind of annoying. Kind of difficult, so let me just turn it down. Yeah. All right. So welcome to the first live session on MDCRX, the YouTube channel. Wagwan Raheen, I see Raheen in the chat already. Wagwan, thank you for being here. So I was trying to get some extra speakers, but we might not get it tonight, or we might. You never know. Just watch out. But thanks again for being here. It's 8:01, so I think I'm just gonna jump right into the video and what is about. Firstly, about Wednesday or so, I asked my followers on Instagram to basically just comment on a post and answer a question in a story telling me what are the various concerns they're having with the COVID-19 vaccine, and why some people might be hesitant to get it, or why some people haven't got it as yet. And I got some pretty good ones, so here I am tonight on a live session just to discuss it with y'all, give you the answers, the this, the that. Yeah, it might not be a long session because I'm just gonna be going quality, right. Anyway, it might not be a long session. It's just me going through those concerns. If you have any concerns, drop them down in the chat and we're gonna go. But yeah, let me pull up the concerns I have. Had them on my phone. So may I go pull them up. Raheen, how you? Wait, you know they work, Raheen. Hold on, let me pull up the ones I had. Watch him, I laugh, cause you're in one corner. That's a man fire, your boy. Alright, so let me look at the post. The post on Instagram. It has 3 comments. Let me go through the first comment with you. It's by Gabriel M. Clayton. How effective are the current vaccines against the Mu strain? And in all honesty, do you see the mutation stopping, or will the COVID-19 pandemic be a carry-on into the next 5 years? All right, so basically doing my research on the Mu strain, I'm just seeing everywhere that it's just all right. It's really resistant to the vaccine defenses. So if there's any strain we should be scared of, it's most likely Mu. I'm not sure if it's as contagious as Delta, because Delta, remember, it was really contagious, spreads really fast. I'm not sure how fast Mu spreads for us to worry about, but what we definitely need to worry about is the fact that it's way more vaccine resistant than, say, the Delta, because Delta did have some level of vaccine resistance, but the Mu one, no, we're just seeing everywhere where it might have a way higher level of vaccine resistance, might even can't be completely resistant, we're not sure as yet, but yes, this Mu one is not something for joke around. So yeah, that's the answer to that question. And then the second part, no, do you see the mutation stopping, or will COVID-19 pandemic be a carry on into the next 5 years? Quite honestly, I'm not seeing these mutations stopping. As long as we have people not getting the vaccine, the mutations are going to continue. It's not like it's an infection caused by bacteria. Let me tell you, bacteria, they're kind of slow to mutate, and if they do mutate, you'll find that they are more likely to be confined in one person rather than spread to everybody else with the new mutation. Viruses, no, they just constantly mutate. You see it from the flu. Every year you have to get a flu shot, so it's like a yearly thing that you have to get a flu shot to prevent the flu or prevent the lessen the symptoms of the flu. So either prevent the symptoms of the flu or lessen the symptoms of the flu. And you see that you have to get that yearly because it's constantly mutating. So yeah, I'm not seeing COVID stopping these mutations anytime soon. In the near future, not near, I'm not sure about near, but in the future, I definitely see it becoming a level of a flu, another type of flu where we look back and we'll be like, yo, remember when it did just boss? But at that time it will be less. But where I'm seeing it right now, probably a good 5 more years, as you said, until things start die down, not dead down, but start die down. So sadly, yes, because as long as you have people not getting the vaccine, you're gonna have people getting really bad symptoms, and then you're gonna have people with the vaccine now getting the virus, and the virus kind of developing some things to evade the defenses of the vaccine defenses that you built up. And then you have some of those being transmitted to people who are unvaccinated, and then they're now suffering from it. And then you'll have the virus living longer in the people who are unvaxxed. I hope you're not understanding. You have the virus living longer in the people who are unvaxxed, and then you just have that higher level, or the higher development of those things that will evade your defenses that you got from the vaccine. So yeah, basically, as long as you have that high number of people not getting vaccinated, you're gonna have the baga mutations that are gonna push the pandemic down the line further. All that. Raheen is saying, yes, I saw Raheen. Raheen got the Moderna vaccine yesterday, and he's saying he's only feeling the pain in his arm at the injection site, and he's just a little bit congested, so just a little bit stuffy. See, when I got my first vaccine, I could tell that there was a fever coming on, but I was taking my Panadol, so I was fine. So it's nothing extreme. I was just a little bit fatigued too. The second dose, nothing. I was probably a little bit tired, but nothing otherwise. And see, Raheen, he got the Moderna one, I got the AstraZeneca. And as you can see, we're still alive, and we're both saying it's not that bad. By the way, Raheen did a vlog of his vaccination experience, so go check out Raheen TV and watch that vlog. I did one too back on my channel, so if you want to go check out that one, go check out that one as well. So now let's go into another concern. Can any of the vaccines cause any harm? Okay, so remembering when them just bust on the scene. Remember everyone was talking about AstraZeneca causing large numbers of blood clots or blood clotting events. But that was found to basically just be in the population, the older population, and persons who are way more likely to develop blood clots. If you probably have a high clotting factor in your blood and things like that, which basically means that your blood just love clot up. So yeah, it's people like that was experiencing that clotting side effect. Wait, hold on there. So like somebody joining the live. 1 second, guys. But yeah, let me finish the thought first. What was I saying? Yeah. And then you found that basically it was almost 1 in a million people getting that blood clotting event or blood clotting side effect. And basically it wasn't anything significant. When you look at the Johnson & Johnson now, there was some other events of what was happening. Was it also blood clots? I think they were getting just some really bad rashes or so on their legs and stuff. But I haven't been hearing much from that. But from just the layman people that take the vaccine, I know a lot of people that take the Johnson & Johnson, they're fine. I know a lot of people that take the AstraZeneca, they're fine. Moderna, Pfizer, they're fine. So there's definitely side effects that come with it. As I told you, I experienced that fever from the AstraZeneca. Raheen, he experiences just the pain at the injection site, and he's a bit stuffy. That's it. So harm in terms of, high level harm, I'm not going to say no, because you're definitely going to have people who are more susceptible to experiencing more harm from anything more than other people, much less the vaccine. So, definitely in certain populations, which is why you have the screening process where they ask you have this, you have that, so on and so forth. But as a, a normal, healthy individual, or even people with certain diseases or certain non-communicable diseases, they won't really experience anything other than the little side effects them, and then they get over it. All right, now that I'm finally done with my thoughts, I think I hear Mario, Dr. Mario Guthrie. Is he there? Mario? I'm not sure if he's there. Let me see.
He's kind of here.
He's kind of here.
Audio wise.
Audio wise. Okay, all right. I hope they're hearing you. Hold on 1 second. Let me just do a quick sound check. All right, say something.
So, Mika, am I like here audio like on radio?
Wait. All right, say something.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Wait. Yeah. Okay, I'm hearing you. They're hearing you. So I was just doing a quick sound check to see. So you're basically, I'm just gonna keep you on what you call it there, on audio. I'm never gonna really bring up your screen. But guys, the voice you're hearing is Dr. Mario Guthrie. He is a general practitioner, and he has his own practice going strong. And I just brought him here to also, help me with these concerns a little bit. So me and Dr. Guthrie are just gonna go through y'all's concerns. So I just talked about how effective the vaccine is from the Mu strain, and if vaccines can cause any harm. You want to add anything to those two, or you want to just move on to the other ones?
Wait, no, go ahead. Repeat that again.
The first concern was how effective are the current vaccines against the Mu strain?
Wow, that's a good question. And then it's a very brand new strain. So
exactly.
I'll be honest, I'm sure they're still trying to figure that out as well. So I think it might be fair to work with the fact that there is still some protection from the current vaccines that we are using now. But I mean, we always know that there's a possibility that the strains may start to evade the vaccines, and that's where the whole booster conversation will come in. So even Delta, I believe to some extent may evade the strains, but I think in terms of effectiveness, a lot of the vaccines are still up in the high 90s at preventing people from dying, being hospitalized, or being admitted. So we're still at a phase where vaccines, the currently available vaccines, are providing some protection. Good protection.
Good protection, exactly. Because I was just telling them that yes, the Delta in itself was giving some amount of vaccine resistance, but basically it just kind of come down to us seeing where it goes, because it's very new.
In the beginning, they were confident at using that whole 100% mark, saying that it was 100. All the vaccines are 100% effective at preventing you from being hospitalized.
Exactly.
But I think now they're at the phase where for some of them, they're like 96% or so. It's not 100%, but still good.
Yeah, still good. All right. Because honestly, to be honest, I'm saying even if it dropped down to like 30%, whatever percent, I would like to know that I'm going into the fight with some amount, something. You understand? Yeah. I don't want to just go out there just nothing so naked, ready for the virus, just so. So yeah, I would want to know that I have something. But yeah, that's to answer that question. And the next question was, can any of the vaccines cause any harm?
I mean, we know that the vaccines are not 100% perfect, exactly. And the answer is yes, they can cause some harm. But that's a broad question, because when I have conversations about vaccination, I always lean heavily into risk versus benefit. And for every decision in life, including vaccination, that is how you have to look at it. And even more fair answer is, can COVID cause harm? So, are we looking at catching COVID and dealing with the complications of COVID, or the potential of rare vaccine side effects? And that will vary depending on whether you're 12, 40, 60 with hypertension. So the risk is very different for each person. So yeah, it can cause harm.
Exactly, that's what I was saying. I was telling them that
it potentially can cause harm, but overall, is it safe? I would say yes.
There you go. I was basically telling him that in certain groups of people with basically anything, they're going to just be more susceptible to experiencing like harmful side effects.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I mean, like today I did a talk on COVID vaccination, and the biggest question was people kind of had these very specific things that they had, and they wanted to know, can I take it if I have varicose veins? Can I take it if I have this cyst behind my ear? Is it a clot? And I had to really kind of be telling them, no, your cyst is not a clot. And if you puncture your cyst, it won't have blood in it. And you can take the vaccine. If you have varicose veins, you can take the vaccine. If you have sickle cell disease, you can take the vaccine. Matter of fact, you should probably take the vaccine first.
Exactly, right?
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because you would be at a higher risk.
All right, so let me go on to the next one. All right, the next one is saying, does it matter which vaccine you take?
I like to answer this question by saying it does not matter which vaccine you take overall, because again, the effectiveness of them is to prevent death, hospitalization, admission, and severity of disease. That's another big thing too. So no matter what you take, you can get reinfected, right?
Exactly, yeah.
But it doesn't mean that you will get as sick, and hopefully you won't have to go to a hospital. So I like to say take what's available. Us in the third world, we're lucky in Jamaica now to have 3 choices of vaccine. That's a huge deal that they can go and pick one. But until we got here, we were bouncing with the Astra and that METEC. And the availability, as you saw, one time you have it, next time you don't have it. Some people do get pushback. And that's going to happen all over the world. The demand is way greater than the availability. And based on that and the benefit it provides, I would say take what you can get.
Basically, because I heard
but if you have a choice, then do your research and pick the one that you think you like the most for whatever reason. But outside of that, take what you can get.
Exactly. But I heard someone say something one time, and I really agree with it. The best one that you can get is whichever one is available to you. Basically saying just take one, you know. But again, it's down to it's down to again just you doing your own research, and whichever one you're comfortable with, just go with that one.
You know, I love the wording you use. The wording you use is the correct wording. Exactly. Take what is available to you. That is the way to go.
There you go. All right. All right. How do you know if you're allergic to one, and what to do if so?
Yeah, that's a nice question, and it's a good question, because the truth is that you probably won't know if you're allergic to the ingredients of a vaccine until you take it. My only comfort is that most vaccines are given in spaces where you have medical observation, and that's a part of the process. And most allergic reactions that are severe will happen within 15 minutes. And if they do go beyond 15 minutes, they will still happen early. And what that means is that hopefully you will still either be at the place where you got the injection, which will hopefully be a hospital or some medical space to receive treatment, or you'll be close enough to come back. That may not be totally comforting for everyone, but at the end of the day, most severe allergic reactions will happen very soon after vaccination.
Exactly. And
once you're gone home and you're gone day 2, day 3, it's not as likely, not impossible, but not as likely.
Exactly. And because with the vaccination experience, if you haven't been vaccinated, they have like, I think it's 30 minutes, a 30 minutes observation time.
It's 15 actually.
It's 15. I was in my scene for 30. Listen, you were there for 30? Maybe it was because it was early on in the administration.
Yeah,
but
I remember it being 15 minutes.
Mine was 30. Anyway, but yeah, they're there, they're monitoring you, they have their adrenaline, which basically will sort you out in the event of a allergic reaction. So do not worry. Also, what you can do is do your research as to what is in these vaccines, because a lot of the vaccines, it's the base is normally, what's the base? I can't remember what the base is, but the base is normally very hypoallergenic. And then
they have some other things in them. Some of them have some
sugars, some of them have alcohol. like
Yeah,
ethanol, like
alcohol.
a very low level of these things. So they're hypoallergenic. It would just come down to like the active ingredient, which would be the the various things that
Right,
are the mRNA strand,
right.
the spike
Things that
protein
will
coding
create
thing,
your
the things that will
antibody
create your
response.
exactly. That's what you'd. And again, as Dr. Guthrie was saying, you won't really know about that if you're allergic to that until you take it. Which again, you're being observed and stuff, so you should be
But
fine.
I did want to add though that
Mm-hmm.
if you are in that small category of people that are allergic to like next to everything, 'cause, you have a few people in life who grow up and they can't take anything. If they have pineapple, them swell up.
Exactly.
If they have Panadol, them swell up. If you are one of those super
Yeah.
allergic people, then I would probably talk to a doctor before taking the vaccine, just for advice. Or if you do choose to take the vaccine, go in prepared. Have some DPH on you. Have an EpiPen if you have one.
Exactly.
Like, go in prepared for the potential for it, but we hope it wouldn't happen.
There we go. All right, let's move on to our next concern. How long should the side effects last? I think like no longer than like a 5 day, right? Or like
I
five,
like
seven
to
day.
say most. I like to say most will happen in the first 2 to 3 days. So I
Two to
like to
three.
say 48 to 72 hours is typical for vaccines.
Mm-hmm.
Um, if we gone over day 3, that's not common. But when I got my first dose of AstraZeneca, I had fever on day 1, but I had loose stool on day 4, which
Oh.
was weird
Mm-hmm.
because to me it seemed late, but I summed it up to the vaccine and it stopped in half of the day. By half a day it was gone and it was good again. But I would say within 3 days.
3 days or so. Okay.
Yeah,
Alrighty,
but
let's go to our next one. What vaccine is best for pregnant or breastfeeding women?
right now the recommendation is that you can be vaccinated, so you could take any vaccine.
Exactly. I
I
know I
know
was
that. Yeah.
hearing it's as long as it's not in the first trimester. So I think second and third was okay. Is that what you hear?
Third is the
Third
best,
is
but
best.
if you look at the current CDC recommendation, it actually says safe for women who are pregnant, thinking of becoming pregnant.
Oh,
It literally covers it covers the gamut.
okay.
But if you were concerned, if you are pregnant and are concerned, I would say most of the development of the fetus happens in the first trimester. So if you were going to dodge it out, I would have said put on your mask and hide out until as long as you can. The third trimester though is a good time because that time your baby done fully developed and in the uterus, and the vaccine would definitely have less of an effect, even if it has any effect at all.
Any effect at all? Okay. And I was on a live session the other day, and we were talking about the breastfeeding impacts, and we at the time we weren't really sure if it was has that changed, if it was safe for because they weren't sure as like how it would affect the breast milk and so on. So I'm not sure if that has changed yet.
I believe it has changed. I think once this most recent advisory came out about it being safe in pregnant women, I think that would carry over to breastfeeding
Breastfeeding.
as well. And then keep in mind that you're getting one shot of a vaccine or two, right? So your antibody responses tend to happen 2 weeks after, or more maximal 2 weeks after. So, and you will always be breastfeeding. So, as far as I know medically, I don't see any indication for you to not breastfeed. Matter of fact, you probably pass over some of those antibodies to your child and give some protection
Some
actually.
protection, actually.
Yeah.
Exactly. That makes sense. I'm seeing Tia Shanti in the chat saying she late and she just done bed. Anyway, welcome. Better late than never. All right. I'm going to another one. Can the vaccines cause infertility? Do they have any effect on a woman who is trying to conceive? And I think we can double back on the fact that you said it's safe in persons thinking to become pregnant.
Right, but let me touch on the fertility one
Yeah.
because there is a guy that on YouTube, a doctor who I listen to a lot, and I just forgot his name, but I will remember and say it before I come off. But he is really knee deep in the medical research. And for anybody who has vaccine hesitancy, I love to tell them to just do the research, but do it from reliable sources. His name is Dr. John Campbell. He is a man from the UK, and he has a video which goes for, this is more for men though. He released a study, a small study on a group of men, and they took the vaccine and they looked at their sperm counts, and a few of them had slightly higher sperm counts, which could have been just random. But across the board, when they completed the study, there was no decrease in sperm count post-vaccination, and the conclusion was that it does not affect your sperm count and it doesn't affect your fertility, so it should be safe.
Should be safe, exactly. And there was this other thing that I was seeing, that it, in women at least, for the infertility concern with women, it was coming from the fact that people were thinking that because programmed your body to fight against the spike proteins of COVID,
Right.
then the antibodies would then go ahead to fight the proteins that make up the placenta.
Oh wow.
Exactly. I'm just like, everything in it.
Well, I mean, it sounds a little bit way out, but your placenta is not made of spike proteins, so
That's what I'm saying.
I would say no.
No, right? And I saw the analogy of someone was saying, where was it? I can't remember where I saw it, but someone was saying that's like comparing, and that's like thinking an elephant is a cat because they're both gray. And I'm like, yeah.
But yeah, it sounds a little way out, but there are some theories. I know that this platform is for conversations about vaccination. There's a doctor named Dr. Bosch. I believe it's Bosche. He is an immunologist, and he has a whole autoimmune theory. And to just break that down for people, autoimmune diseases are ones like lupus, and basically your body fight against itself. So it's like pretty much your antibodies are eating away at your own system. And then he's thinking that sometimes the vaccination can lead to autoimmune kind of conditions. So I think some people have supported him. I think he has some valid medical points. But if anybody wants to check that out, that could be something to look at. But again, we still come back to risk versus benefit, and we still lean to the vaccine being the better choice.
Being the better choice, exactly. So I am actually seeing a comment in the chat saying that the vax killed 60,000 people and it was quote unquote safe and effective. So
the vaccine killed 60,000 people?
That's what the comment is saying. So
yeah, where is that statistic from?
I'm not sure. Paula Oppenheimer, do we have a reference for that one?
Do you have a reference? And I'm not saying that it's not true. It's just
we just want to know where it's from, So we can get back to that one as soon as the references come up. But I mean, at the same time, the COVID-19 virus has killed so many people, millions. So, honestly, sometimes I kind of have to weigh risk against benefits,
Yeah. And I mean, as I say, even as a doctor, I'm not trying to let anybody feel like the vaccine is perfect.
100%.
I like to always tell people that science is transparent and science is honest. And I like that about science. Yes, things are being researched still, but as things come up, people do studies on them, the numbers come out, the cases come out. And for me, that's a little bit more comforting because, it's something that's always under the microscope and being investigated. Exactly. So there are no conspiracy theories to me.
Yeah. But I'm also glad that came up about people dying with the vaccine, because one big bad thing about getting the vaccine is not knowing your COVID status. You need to definitely know your COVID status, because having COVID and getting the vaccine is a no-no.
It's not guaranteed that you will die though, but I don't have any.
You're not gonna die like all the time, but it's just definitely know your status of COVID before getting the COVID vaccine.
And for people who are concerned about that. Like, I don't have any kids, but I work with kids a lot, and a general rule in vaccination is that we don't vaccinate sick people. So if you
Exactly.
have a flu or any viral symptoms, don't go and take the vaccine, because we like to vaccinate people who are well. And your next question is going to be, what if I'm asymptomatic? And yeah, that's where the gray area is as well. I don't think it's financially feasible for our government to screen people with a $7,000 COVID test or
COVID
a
test, exactly.
$20,000 PCR. So that's unlikely to happen,
Exactly.
especially if the risk of death is low. But yeah, if you think you're unwell, don't go and take a vaccine. Wait till you get better.
There you go. Already. Let's go into the next one. How many years from now would we need to be vaccinated for COVID again?
Oh wow. You want to take that one, Mishka?
Okay,
Okay.
I'll start with, I guess, let's look into the booster shot nest. Like, what do we need for, like, what's the time frame for the booster shot? For now, Pfizer and Moderna was looking into starting a booster shot for persons no less than 8 months. So when it comes down to booster shots, I guess in like a next year or so after your second dose, then
Yeah.
then we can start looking towards revaxing our booster shots. I feel.
I Yeah, no, I think that's reasonable, and
Yeah.
already in the US they've started giving boosters.
Boosters, exactly.
Um, what I will say about the science is coronavirus is kind of similar to the flu
To the
in
flu,
that
exactly.
it continues to mutate, and when you have viruses that continue to change form, you will always possibly need a booster, possibly. And I think this is going to fall into that category, unfortunately. So, though some people might be thinking, wow, 2 doses and it's a wrap, I am pretty certain we'll be doing this for a little bit longer. How long? Hard to say.
Exactly. So I honestly, for now in Jamaica at least, it's we
It's
can't
just
really
2 doses.
say
RC Johnson and Johnson 1 dose.
exactly. Yeah. There you go. All right. So we can probably go on to the next one. All right. Wait. I'm seeing Marlon Simpson in the chat saying happy to be having this convo. I've been looking forward to this conversation for a while. Yeah, well, welcome. We're here, we're chatting. If you have anything you want to drop in the chat, any facts, or if you want to ask any questions, you're free to. He's saying there's too much false anti-vax info out there. Yes, there definitely is, because there's this wonderful mix of misinformation and what's the other word? Disinformation, I think. There's some other word where it's like you have people purposefully just putting out false info out there, like just to cause chaos, So there's too much of that out there. So yes, definitely, you're welcomed. All right, we're moving on to our next one. Will it kill my erection, or will it give me erectile dysfunction?
My favorite.
Right. All right. Go. Yeah, you can go.
Yeah.
You can take that one. Yeah.
Basically, a lot of people saw the IG video from one of our Jamaican colleagues, one of our Jamaican men, where he caught COVID twice. And on his second infection, he got admitted to the chest hospital. And on his discharge, he recognized that his morning erections were less. And all I'll say is COVID-19 as an illness can be a wicked little disease. And the COVID-19 more likely will affect your erection than the vaccine. The vaccine is not known to affect your erection. So there's no erectile dysfunction linked to any of the vaccines, as far as I know. But COVID can affect it.
Exactly.
Yeah, it can. It may.
There you go. All right. So let's go on to the next concern. Why persons who have already gotten the virus still need to take the vaccine? Oh, this is always a good one to answer.
Yeah, always a good one.
This one is because you can get reinfected with COVID. You can get reinfected, and it's funny because when you hear reinfection, you hear, okay, the second time not gonna be that bad. But I think for corona, it's kind of the opposite, where the second or the subsequent infections gets worse. I think that's what they've been finding, right, Mario?
All right, let me tell you the angle I'm gonna take this one from, Mr.
Yeah.
I'll counter you a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
If you just got COVID, technically, you don't immediately need to be vaccinated because you will have natural immunity, right? The thing is that they think those antibodies stay in the bloodstream maybe 6 months, maybe 3 to 6 months. But after that 3 to 6 months and those antibodies kind of decrease or wane, then you might be possibly be subjected to being reinfected and getting ill again. So the way I would want to say it is that if you just had COVID, you can delay a vaccine. You could delay a vaccine. But the second point I want to make is that the way how these vaccines create your immune responses, sometimes it may give you broader coverage than just having the infection alone. And what a lot of the doctors are saying is that people who caught COVID and then get vaccinated actually end up having a nice level of antibodies. And vice versa, if you get vaccinated and then you get reinfected down the line, you also still have a nice level of antibodies. So if you get it already, still get the vaccine. Just get it after you recovered from all your symptoms. And I would say probably wait. If you choose to wait about 3 to 6 months. But it is safe to take the vaccine once you've recovered from COVID-19.
Yeah, and I mean it does also make sense to get it.
Yeah, I did it because I'm a doctor. I see a lot of patients, and I had caught COVID myself. But I thought to myself, I have this opportunity to get a vaccine. It's free. I am potentially at risk of being exposed many more times. So I wanted to kind of be at my maximal level of protection, whatever that looks like right now.
Yeah, I get you. Definitely. Let me look for some other ones. I got them all over the place in DMs too, so
You have COVID questions in your DM.
Right? that's what my DMs look like. It's very sad.
How exciting is that?
Right? It's how exciting. All right. Okay. All right. So this person was just listing some myths that they heard about it. There are just some concerns from lay people, some very real concerns that he's heard that he just wants addressed. People are concerned about how quickly the vaccine came about and are wondering why vaccines are not yet available for cancer. Now let's break that up into two parts. People are concerned about how quickly the vaccine came about.
Yeah. All right. So vaccines for COVID-19, coronavirus vaccine specifically, they have been under development for many years. And this is not our first coronavirus exposure. We have had SARS in the past, and we have had MERS, right? So they had always started creating vaccines for the coronavirus, and maybe some that weren't very successful at the time. But what people fail to understand is that a pandemic shifts that whole thing. And it shifts it in a way that whereas scientists have more time to work on a vaccine, if the whole world isn't sick at the same time and you have billions of people dying. And also funding is an issue for scientists as well. So when you have a pandemic and people start to die everywhere, all of the global authorities come together, the science authorities come together, and funding appears. And all of a sudden urgency appears. And all of a sudden a vaccine that had been kind of on the back burner for a while is a little bit expedited, but it isn't that it started from scratch. And I hope that makes people feel a little bit more comfortable that this is not coming from 0 to 60. This is like, yeah, it seems that way, but we're working on stuff that we kind of were always using. Maybe not in humans yet, but we decided to do studies too. So they didn't skip the studies. They have trials, they have phases, phase 1, 2, 3, 4. They go through all sorts of stuff.
Because the timeline with vaccines normally is stretched out a lot by
a lot longer.
The funding. A lot of it is in the funding. So
a lot of it is in the funding.
You'll find that it's just a long drawn out process because there's not that much people backing it with funds. So that's one of the reasons why vaccines, I guess, normally take so long. And then now, as you said, we've had coronaviruses before. We had SARS, we had MERS, so we did have that blueprint. It's just now
Exactly.
to customize. You know, like how you have in the Sims, we have the body, and you're just like you
Right.
fling on the hairstyle and you fling on some clothes and you that yes. So we already had the body, and the coronavirus now is just there. I just say, all right, we can put on some hair and clothes on this vaccine, and
Right.
we get the COVID vaccine. So it's not
And
as you say 0 to 100. No, it's not.
and let's not disregard that we haven't had a pandemic in 100 years. We haven't
100
had anything
years.
that's in 100 years. And look how much technology has changed in 100
That's
years.
what
Not
I'm
in 100 years.
saying. I don't understand why people feel like say we have to take up rock and stone again and all these things for make vaccine like what we did in the past 100 years ago.
Right.
Like, do you see how phones
So
evolved in the past 10 years, much less
what?
100
What?
years?
We're doing everything on our phones. And I mean, so it's a combination of funding, a combination of a technology changing, a combination of the fact that this isn't brand new, but actually something that kind of was in existence that they could tweak quickly. But yeah, it would definitely appear fast. I was concerned about it too, folks. So
Yeah. I mean, it's a genuine
I was
concern.
concerned about everything that you are before I put that thing in my body, because the day before I took my vaccine, that cold clot story came out. I mean, nearly cancel the appointment. Me near cancel it. Me nearly never no show. But me say, I'm gonna do the thing. And I did it. And I'm still here.
All right. Wait. In the chat, I'm seeing someone say, "Let's talk about herd immunity," because a lot of patients are confused about it. So I guess we can start with just defining what herd immunity is.
All right. Yeah, it is a confusing concept. To break it down, I would say the herd actually refers to the people who are vaccinated.
Yeah.
And what happens is that if you vaccinate the majority of our population, 70, 80%, it means that the other 20% who aren't vaccinated actually get protected. And they get protected because all of that other 80% are at a decreased risk of having severe illness. If they do get reinfected, the virus probably stays in their body for a shorter time. So overall, the large mass of your population is well, and the large mass of your population gets better quickly. So the 20% where don't get no vaccine, them can literally dodge it out. So if you have herd immunity in most populations, then it just means that your minority of people are unvaccinated and they can probably escape the illness without having to get the vaccine. But of course, in Jamaica, everybody wants to be in the 20%.
Exactly.
And they don't want to be in the herd. So we're trying to achieve that. But I love the herd immunity conversation, because recently I listened to another one of the docs that I like to listen to, and they're saying that herd immunity is pretty much going to be unachievable, and that over time everybody will be exposed to the coronavirus. So pretty much go get a vaccine, because whether you like it or not, you're not going to be able to dodge this thing out. It's going to keep mutating, it's going to become more and more transmissible, and at some point it's going to lick you. Exactly. So protect yourself with the vaccine. But if you don't protect with the vaccine, it's prepared to contract the virus, because it's going to reach you. And eventually, the virus will become what we call endemic, where it just kind of lives in the world, and you get it like cold and flu, and it's no longer like everybody dying, but everybody's been exposed to it, has had antibodies to it, or has developed antibodies from the vaccine. And then things kind of go back to quote unquote normal again. Yeah. That takes a while.
All right. So I guess we covered that. Let's try and go to... Yes. Why are there not vaccines for cancer?
Why are there not vaccines for cancer?
For cancer, yeah.
There are, though. And it just depends on how you understand what that means. All right, let me tell you one vaccine for cancer, but not for cancer, but for cancer. So women get cervical or cervical cancer, and the causative agent is a virus called the human papilloma virus, HPV. And most women get exposed to that at their first sexual intercourse. And if you continue to have intercourse, that's how women get exposed to HPV. And HPV is what causes every single wart on your body. But some of those warts are benign. Most of them are benign. But some strains of HPV cause cancer, like skin cancer, anal cancer, throat cancer, and cervical cancer. And there's this wonderful vaccine. There's one, I shouldn't use the brand, but there's Gardasil 9, which covers 9 strains of HPV. And that's the one they were trying to give to young girls and boys at puberty before they start having sex. And a vaccine like Gardasil would create antibodies against these different HPV strains. And essentially, what that vaccine would do is prevent you from getting these cancers: cervical, anal, rectal, throat, skin. So, my answer is yes, there are things that do help prevent some cancers from developing. So, I guess it depends on what cancer they were referring to.
Exactly.
And some of those other stuff, I don't believe there are vaccines for them yet, but thankfully cancer can be treated, right? In most cases.
In most cases, yeah. So I guess in a lot of cases, the cancers aren't really caused by viruses where we can say it's vaccinated, but
or
in the near
phase, I should say, early.
Exactly. But what we can do is
most early cancers can be treated.
Exactly. Most we can do is look at the cause of them and then try to prevent those in the coming future. But
Yeah.
So we do have coverage for different things with vaccines. All right, let's look at the next one. It's the mark of the beast.
Oh, is that the question? Is that the statement?
That's the statement. It's the mark of the beast.
I can't answer that one. That one is all yours.
All mine. Okay. Well, all right. Let me tell you why I don't.
You need to define the mark of the beast for me, because define the mark of the beast, and then you can break it down.
Okay. Let me try and remember the mark of the beast. What I remember the mark of the beast is it's that mark. Well, I mean, 666, and
then, what does the mark of the beast represent, religious, spiritually?
Just like you being affiliated with the devil. But what I remember it was like, it wasn't really the physical 666, but it was just like something that would identify you as being a part of the crowd that is with the devil. That's like one of the things that classifies something as a mark of the beast.
But I want serious one this because enough people feel so this one. But you say, as again, I am not a theological student, so I need somebody who is theologically trained.
There you go. So the most I can say is, if you think vaccines are the mark of the beast, then I guess you just wouldn't have taken any vaccine ever. But I don't see why you can single out this one vaccine to say this specific one is the mark of the beast. You understand? So that's the most I can go into. That's the deepest I can delve into it, being the mark of the beast, to be honest.
Mishka, we know that a large part of it is that is the same reason why we on the science side want to trust it, meaning advanced technology, yada, yada, yada. But on the flip side, if that is not how you see it, then it's really going to come down to it being brand new and has a microchip in it, and it will track you. And it's really a conspiracy that the governments are putting together to track us forever.
Yeah. So, and I'm like, to be honest, even if they're tracking me, they're going to see me going to this pharmacy every day. I'm going to my heart.
You know what, Mishka? I use Instagram. They're tracking me.
They're tracking me. I have my phone. Google Maps. They're tracking me right now. They're tracking me on this laptop
for a while.
Exactly. Probably this ring light. I don't know.
But no, I don't. From your own cell phone, today when I talked to the people at the place I was talking to them, I said to them, this is different from the mark of the beast argument.
Yeah.
I said to them, do you know how many high-risk things you have done in your life that you never questioned? You know how much thing your granny gave you, and how much thing you tie up in your socks, and put in your mole, in the baby mole hole, and you never ask if nothing happened yet. Yet everything in the science is run through trials, and any problem that comes up with them is brought to the fore and is
Exactly.
transparent. And I'm not saying that mean you must take the vaccine. I went back, and after I said that, I said, do the research and make a sound decision from reliable sources, but don't just throw something at me without any kind of validation that's coming from a sound place.
Yeah.
How much
Don't.
time you have sex and don't use a condom? How much time you drive in a car and don't wear a seatbelt?
Ooh.
I don't know.
But yeah, that's
Sorry
definitely
for
true.
bringing me on this live. This is what happens when you bring me on your live.
No, but it's true though. It's true. There's so many Harris things that people have done before, but like this one, no, is I was so surprised to see some people, like certain people that I know, they're like, oh no, I'm anti-vax because I don't want the vaccine because I care about what I put in my body. I'm like, do you though, or is it just this
Do
one
you
thing?
know?
Like, do it, like as we're saying, do
After
your own
after after
research.
the after the baconator combo, right?
Baconator combo with a
No, you
large
know what though?
shake.
I really don't want people to feel like we are tackling this lightly now,
Yeah,
because the concerns about the vaccine are legitimate. I
you
mean,
do. Yeah,
my vaccine
exactly.
hesitancy did turn up, so I'm not going to link a baconator to the vaccine. So I want you guys to recognize we're not really turning this into a joke, but at the same time though, you do want to look at your life and look at the decisions you've made regarding many other things where you have not calculated the risk. And the thing with a pandemic is that the spotlight is on it now. And before, when you got all these vaccines coming up in life, you never questioned it because someone told you to do it. But from a principle standpoint, a lot of it is very similar. From a principle standpoint, a lot of it is very similar. The old vaccines had side effects too, different technologies, but they were given to you to mount an antibody response.
Exactly.
And you didn't question what was in it. They still had these adjuvants and these things to preserve them. They were still stored in fridges, most of them. So it's not that it's way different apart from the technology used.
Exactly. So anyway, I'm not too sure about a lot of the basis of because a lot of people they just kind of want to be on a bandwagon sometimes too. So that's it. But then we are really aiming for the people who have the genuine concerns.
Tia just dropped a question, Mishka. It says, do any of you have any tips for people wanting to get vaccinated who live with anti-vaxxers? Oh wow. So all right, Tia, give us some context. Meaning, are you like a younger person in an anti-vax household? Are you a minor in an anti-vax household? Meaning that if your parents are the anti-vaxxers, then they are telling you not to get it, though you want it. Because if you're an adult, I would say go ahead and get it. But if there are other repercussions like you being kicked out of your house, then that might be tricky.
Yeah, Tia, so just give us some, like a little more context. Are you talking about like
that you want to,
health-wise?
Yeah, right, or is it that you want to kind of try to give the anti-vaxxers more information? It's tricky. It is tricky. I have met a few people like that who are kids who want to take the vaccine, or they're like over 12, but they're juniors, they're minors, and the parents they know. So them kind of in a sticky situation because they're too young to decide.
I saw someone that tweeted that her mother told her that, listen, I hope you die from that vaccine.
Wow. That's why, yeah, Twitter, that's a lot. That's a whole lot. That's not nice.
That's not nice. So can you wish death on your daughter for choosing something that you don't want to choose? It's just like a different choice. All right, so Tia is saying she's 20, she has an autoimmune disease, and she's planning to get her first dose as soon as possible after talking about it with her doctor this week, but she doesn't have any support. She was told that she's on her own.
Wow, Tia, that's tough. Tia, go get your information like you're doing here, my friend. I like it. Talk to your doctor about it.
Find out
I
how
am almost
much.
pretty certain that your doctor is gonna encourage you to get it.
Exactly. Find out how
And
much a charter service is for transportation that can safely carry you from point A to point B. And then
this may not sound cool, but I would say after you speak to your doctor, probably get the vaccine quietly.
Yeah,
It sounds like sneaking, but probably just get your vaccine, and if your doctor advises you to, since you're an adult and you feel comfortable, I would say go for it, eh?
Yeah, go for it. Nah, nobody enough,
Oh, she said she. Oh, right, she. Oh no, she said she wants to get it as soon as possible after talking about it with her doctor this week, but she doesn't have support.
No, as I think she was saying that he already did say that.
Oh, he did. Okay, gotcha. He did say go for it. All right. Well, I think as an adult you do have the right to go and take your vaccine and don't have a conversation about it. So you probably have, maybe it sounds sneaking, but maybe it might be the best thing to do just to avoid conflict.
Exactly.
And it doesn't sound like they're kicking you out; they're just not supporting you.
Exactly. I don't. Yeah. So it's less of a come out of my yard situation.
Yeah, the consequence those kind of matter still, especially when you're not paying the bills.
There you go. Exactly. So just that, and definitely have your Panadol with you. Take your 2 tablets, no more than 8 tablets per day. 2 tablets every 4 hours, up to 4 times for the day, and just get your vaccine. That's basically
it. Tricky times. Again, I just love to come back to risk benefit, risk benefit. And I think if you can do the research and if you think that the risk is greater than the benefit, then I think you have every right to not take it, I still tell people that this is not about, for me, these conversations aren't about strong arming people into vaccination. It's about providing the relevant information for them to make an informed decision. That's what medicine is about.
Exactly.
But with all these laws and mandating that's coming, God bless with the mandating when I want to go foreign and I try fly Delta, and Delta says show with the immunization kind of happen. That's a stress now. Or your job until you say you need it.
Yeah, you need it.
It can get rough. It's gonna get sticky in here, but.
And the thing is, I don't want people with concerns to feel dumb. I like donks because they're genuine.
Oh, you say you like doubts, right?
What I say?
You say you like doubts?
No. I was saying I don't want people with concerns to feel dumb.
Oh, to feel down? No, sir. Have the concerns. The concerns are excellent.
Exactly. That's what we're there for.
You don't want to go into it blindly either.
Exactly. You don't want to just do it. You don't want to do either side just cause about other people doing.
No, sir. And I knew when I was doing it that one of the main things I wasn't going to do was get vaccinated because of possible mandating of things. I had friends who literally got the vaccination because they wanted to travel. Like that was their main reason. That so them are gonna need it for fly, so them won't get it. Me, no. I said not I. That wouldn't have been my reason. It still wasn't my reason. It was all about the science and about the benefit I thought it would provide.
Listen, I'm just trying to get this pandemic over. So I just said, listen, as I heard about it, I was like, look, I just did some research. I'm like, this seems safe. I got vaccines before. And just being aware of previous, what's the word I'm looking for? Previous things of vaccines, like debuting, I should say, of vaccines. Because I saw how the polio vaccine was accepted, and I'm just like, it's like the exact same thing happening. People are like, oh, they are trying to kill us off, they're trying to population control, this and that, and now polio vaccine is like a staple thing, and polio is
it has eradicated polio. In Jamaica at least.
That's what I'm saying. And that, just seeing that and seeing another vaccine come out, I was already like, look, I'm on the train. I'm not gonna waste no time, be like, oh, they want to kill you off, oh, this and that over again, and that's just another thing about being informed. you don't want to repeat history, and that is exactly what is happening. History is repeating to our
Yeah,
detriment.
yeah, we haven't, the wheel hasn't been reinvented, and I think
Exactly.
it's just happening again many years later.
Of course, the next
And
100 years again, same
yeah,
thing.
it's hard to wrap your head around. I'm not going to lie. I mean, how often do you get an opportunity to have this spotlight on something, and it affects
Exactly.
your life so significantly, where you
There
have
you
to be
go.
home early, can't hug your relatives. It's a lot.
Exactly. Well, I think I can probably call it a live. I think it was.
In
I think
quality
it
of
was a.
life.
I think it was a good session. Thank you so much for coming out, Dr. Guthrie, on your Friday
Yeah,
night.
you're welcome. My Friday night matter.
Yeah, right. Yeah, man. Thank you so much for joining. I think I
No, I'm
can.
glad I could. I'm glad I could be here to contribute in any way that I could help, and
Yeah,
I hope people benefited from this.
exactly. And I'm just trying to get out vaccine info out there before them run out, or before you hear say them now and do no more because nobody now take them. You understand? So
Oh wow, oh
I
wow.
just
I
want
hope not.
people to get the
Get it while it's
info,
free.
get it while it's free. While it's free, exactly. There you go. All right.
After getting information. Yeah.
Exactly. Thank you so much, Dr.
Mishka, you're
Guthrie. Yeah,
welcome.
man. Have a nice
Have
day.
a
All
good night,
right.
and to all of
Thanks.
your supporters, big up on yourself.
All right. Later.
Yeah, man, take care.
Okie dokie, everybody. That was Dr. Guthrie. And no, we finished with the live. Thank you so much for joining the very, very first live session here on MDCIX. It was a little more freer than normal because I was just looking off stuff and answering. It was fun. It was fun. Thank y'all for joining. I hope y'all benefited. Shout out to Tia, to Mr. Simpson, Raheen, obviously, Mapari for joining, and Miss Oppenheimer. Thank you for joining in. You can always come back and comment with the references that we're asking for, and we can definitely get back to you on that one. But thanks everyone for joining. I think I'm gonna end it now, and yeah.